The U.S. presidential election was followed closely by people around the world. Others visited America to see the process up close, either as journalists or electoral officials. Ahmed Issack Hassan, chairman of Kenya's Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, was one of the visiting observers, and I spoke with him about what he thought of the process and lessons he learned.
The level of trust on institutions and people is very high in this country. We were told by Ambassador Johnny Carson that America will be the same way it was last week. It will be the same way next week or next year. Even whoever wins doesn't matter. Institutions matter. I think he was emphasizing the fact that we need to build democratic institutions for us to be able to establish good governance. And something else that I learned is the fact that the candidate, Governor Romney, was able to concede defeat based on provisional results. Even though it was a very close election and hotly contested, but I think, and he gave a very constitutional speech which was quite patriotic, saying that praying for the new president and his family. And you could see there's a lot of, he was thinking beyond his personal self, but the country. Yeah. And I wish that could be something we replicate in Kenya.
As we know where we come from, somebody could have said, no, we have to recount, or we have to look at these numbers again because they're so close to each other. Yeah. But within a very short time, he concedes.
I guess it's because there was transparency and integrity in the process. And so if you're able to understand and believe the way it is being handled, the election, the counting, and the results announcement, then you can be able to concede. And I guess after they were very sure that Ohio is lost, then they were able to concede. So I think it's because they have the system here they have built is quite robust, very transparent, very credible, and it has been there for almost ages. And so I think this means that in our own countries, we need to build institutions and which people can then have faith and confidence. We need to put in place processes which are very transparent, which are very credible, and people can see, so that you can be able to have a person actually conceding defeat before you announce the results.
You mentioned something, patriotism, about love for country, putting the country ahead of yourself. When you look at the way politicians in Africa behave, would you say that most politicians really put the country first and put the future of a country first, or they are more obsessed with getting there, getting that position?
I don't think you will compare what the kind of patriotism and putting the national interest first to what's happening in Africa. It is the personal interest which is actually much more important. There's a lot of emphasis. We call it a do or die affair. Politics is a do or die affair. I must win at all costs. And so a candidate goes to all lengths to make sure he wins. And even when he loses, he will not be able to concede. He will have to look for any sort of excuse, whether to blame the commission, to blame the other side. I mean, just to say he has been rigged. So it's not very common for people to look at the bigger interest and say, especially when you have got very close contest and you have a very divided nation, you realize that this particular race was very divided, and you need now to move forward and make sure the country, the nation survives the elections. I think we don't have that.
Campaigns were actually based on certain issues, and this is what makes the difference between the candidates and even the political parties. Do you see a time when Kenyan politicians will spend their time articulating their positions on issues rather than on personalities?
I hope this will be the first time in Kenya where we are going to have that kind of debate. The media houses in Kenya have come together under one umbrella, and they're going to prepare a debate among all the presidential candidates in January next year. And so we are beginning to see if they all agree, and if all the candidates, all the serious ones, come together and start talking about what they have for the country, we may begin to see issue-based politics coming as a substantive matter. But I think largely in Kenya, it's not issue-based politics. It's about the individual. It's about the clan, the tribe it comes from, and the kind of numbers that come with the tribe. So we have got a long way to go.
Ahmed Issack Hassan is chairman of Kenya's Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. For more information on any of today's stories, please visit us online at voaafrica.com and be sure to befriend us on Facebook. The address facebook.com/VOA in focus.